Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Oh my gosh, Laurie, how's it going?
Jacqueline, it's pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I've got new stickers for the Patreon. I got to drop over at your house.
Okay. They don't have to go out till
May. It's June.
No, the April 1st, April, May, June 1st.
June 1st. Okay. Yeah. Because do we need 3 new ones by June 1st?
You sent me one. You gave me a pile of one, so we need 2 more.
So now I just need 1 more. Okay. We're just getting some business done, you guys. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. We have a Patreon if you were to want to be part of it.
Yes.
$5 a month gets you a bonus interview where we interview another comic, an actual interview. We just finished interviewing the April one. We're coming in hot, you guys.
It's April 29th. We're getting it in on time. We want no complaints.
Right, because this will come out May 1st, but we will have released the April episode, and it will be Beth Stelling.
Yeah.
So you should always find Beth Stelling.
Yeah, she has a Netflix special out now called, what's the name of it? I know her first one was Girl Dad.
Right, she said something about
if you knew
you don't deserve me or something.
Yeah,
right.
Like that.
It's like, it's so good.
It is. But
she's
the
hilarious.
Special itself is great, and so yeah.
I can't wait to see it, and God knows I will, because Chris is playing. I was telling you this. Chris is playing comedy specials like 5 hours a day. It genuinely feels like she's like, you should be more successful. Why are you not on? And she's seen my 2 specials.
Oh my God.
I don't know if she's probably just trying to connect with me.
Jackie, she is. That is sweet. I don't know if that's worse than my mother listening to Rush Limbaugh 3 hours a day. I can't figure out what I want to hear less.
If it were Rush, I would tell her to fucking put some headphones on and get lost.
My mom did. She had those big, gigantic headphones, and her head was getting smaller and smaller. So the sound was leaking out everywhere. Yeah.
Just his voice.
Yeah.
And as much as I like Colin Quinn, I was in my room trying to read, and I just heard his voice, and I walk out, and was like, nope, not this one. I like Colin.
He's great. He's brilliant. She can't use headphones with the device that she's using?
She could. She doesn't. I mean, the thing is, we haven't set it up for her to use. She also has a TV in her room. She could do it in her room. This morning, she actually said, if we, because I told Andy I needed the room for a bunch of Jackie and Laurie stuff, and he goes, oh, damn it, I was gonna. And I was like, okay, well, we'll work around it. And then Chris goes, you guys need an extra room. And I didn't say what I wanted to say, but the thing is she could watch TV in her room, but she doesn't want to be bedbound. And I get that too. You know, she doesn't want to just do it from her bed.
It's tough for everybody. She had her own place not too long ago, did whatever she wanted, roamed around. And now she's confined to a new place, probably knowing that she's putting you guys out, you know, and that doesn't feel good on her end. And that it's just hard for all people, all participants from their various points of view. It is tough.
Right. Yeah. I was telling you that we're all depressed. We're all anxious, and we're all fearful. And it's a really fun experience, and you should all come over to the house. And but we're all genuinely all trying to be good sports about it, which I think is, and to varying degrees. Some people, the failure is never too bad. Like there might be I might snip a little bit. Andy might snip a little bit. Chris might whine a little more, and that's about it. So we all win as far as how bad it could be. How about that?
That's not bad. I mean,
it's not bad.
A lot of this is coming down the pike for a lot of people, or it's their current reality anyway. And it's weird though. All the people that in our community that I hear talking about taking care of their mothers are female comics. A lot of male comics, and maybe there are, and maybe I'm just not hearing it talking about moving their mother in and being the caretaker.
Right, and I would like to do material about it, and but I feel a little guilty because it would start out, because when you write a new joke, it starts out mean,
Yeah.
It starts out, it's coming either from anger or frustration or from something else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, if I like, for example, me saying that we're all depressed and angry, come on over to the house. It's a cheerful place. If Andy heard that, it might hurt his feelings, and Chris heard it might hurt. She wouldn't hear it, but
So
I mean,
neither
but
of
if
them
it
listen to the podcast
at all, I mean, I
Good.
don't even, Chris.
I
Chris,
haven't either.
Lori.
I can't even
Yeah.
verify that it exists.
It does. To my knowledge, Kyle's the only one doing it. I heard that Kyle's audio, somebody sent me a message saying that Kyle's audio was a little louder than ours.
Oh,
And it was unsynced. So I gave him a message that he should pull the tracks separately from Riverside and sync them up and volume level if he has to. And he is at his new day job. So that's what he'll be doing later.
okay.
So how was your weekend at the home club? You were Punchline, right?
It was fun. I had very fun shows.
Excellent.
So here's my video camera saga.
Okay.
So I went to, I still don't understand all the descriptions of cameras. There are all these letters and numbers and stops and everything. I'm like, I don't know what that means. What do I need to record myself on stage, please? That's all I want. Don't give me all this extra shit. I don't want extra
did you
lenses.
buy a new fancy camera or something?
Well, first I went to Target and I got a $140 Polaroid. And I was like, all I want to do is record myself on stage. So I bring it up there to San Francisco, and the quality was so bad, I laughed. It looked like fifth generation VHS. Yeah. And
wow, you should send it to Stroop.
It should. So I mean, I could post some clips because there were some funny interactions, including there was one thing where so to the left of me on Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was Wednesday, there was a woman, an Asian woman, right? So I said, my son is Hispanic, starting at a joke, and she said, "Ooh, that means he can get into college easier," right? And so, so the crowd went, "Ooh,"
Good Lord.
And then a Hispanic woman on the right side was kind of like comically put her coat on, and I was like, "All right, easy," like. So I kind of play with that a little bit.
I love that the audience started miming different outrage. Good for them.
The show goes on, and then I start talking about dogs, and I said, like, just introduce the topic of dogs, and the Asian woman coughed dramatically. And so, I like to respond immediately when I hear noises.
Yeah, you do.
And I go,
sure.
"What, did you just cough up a dog?" And then the audience laughed, and then they went the ooh laughed, and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't."
Oh, they turned on you because of Asians and the eating of dogs.
Because she was sitting there, and that noise just happened right then. So that was fun as well, because then I spent like a minute retracting the joke. And
right, it's always funny when you're like, allow me to do reparations immediately, and
so anyway, that video is dog shit, but whatever. So then I go to Best Buy, and
so you take the camera back, or you just regroup, or
I regroup because I'm still in San Francisco. I didn't bring a receipt with me to go to a Target in San Francisco.
Right.
So I take an Uber or a Lyft to Best Buy. I want a camera that shoots for an hour, good quality. I get a Canon, and then I start shooting all weekend. It stops after like 40 minutes, and so, and the files are gigantic, and I don't know how to click. I thought I was doing the lowest setting. I took it this morning to Best Buy, and he said I was doing it high setting. So he downgraded it and showed me how to do it. And I guess
do it on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you could do it on the camera. That's good. Some of the cameras are nice. You can edit on the camera now.
No, not edit. Like shoot in a lower frame rate, I guess.
So that was he able to reduce the file size from the camera today?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
No, what he was saying is you're recording at this rate, which means the camera's going to shut off after 40 minutes because it gets too hot. So if you record at a lower frame rate, then it'll stay on for the full hour.
Right.
So And then I just tested it, and it did stay on for a full hour. So I guess
And
I
can
have
I
a
ask,
camera.
what kind of phone do you have?
I have an old iPhone.
Because everyone I know just does it from. I have a 15 Pro Max,
Well,
and it would cover an hour. So
if somebody, I mean, do I have to get a second iPhone? If someone were to take my iPhone while it was recording, then I would be fucked for that week. I wouldn't have a phone that weekend, right?
oh, is that why? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
someone
All
steals
right.
a camera, I'm still fucked, but not that fucked, right?
Right, because then you could tape with your phone, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never think that someone's going to steal it, but yeah, you're right. If someone did, you would not have a phone.
Sure. I mean, I haven't ever
Yeah,
tried recording for an hour on my phone.
because everyone I know is recording on their phones, but
Hmm.
maybe they're not doing hours. And here's what I'm not doing: recording. So
Right.
here's the other thing I'm doing: I'm letting the club record and then
Yeah.
send me the files.
They don't all do it, you
No,
know?
they don't.
I
But
wish the San Francisco Punchline should, because it's such a sweet club.
right, they don't do
I
it.
hope they get that together. It's a
Yeah,
great,
they
and
might
then
do it.
it's great advertising for them and stuff like that. But fun
Louis
shows.
Lee at the Acme took down the Acme sign. He's like, people know where they are. I was like, what? He said, yeah, I'm sick of looking at it. It's 40
So
years later.
it's
He
just the
doesn't
red
want to.
curtain.
Yeah, it's the curtain, and like probably 5 years ago, he moved it from right next to the curtain to over deeper into the room,
Yeah.
and now he's literally just put it in a closet.
See, that's not bad. I mean, it is better than having a neon sign in the background that the audience constantly has to spend a little bit of energy not looking at,
Right,
telling you
right,
the comedy club that you're at right now.
right, which is probably exactly why he did it. Yeah, good for
Yeah.
him.
Well, so the Punchline has a beautiful backdrop of whatever city it's in. Sacramento, of course, has its own. San Francisco, the classic San Francisco backdrop. And, great shows, very fun. I don't know, I had a great time. I think I may have gotten bitten by bugs at Club Quarters. There may have
At
been.
the hotel?
Yeah, I had a
They
few,
might have.
I had a few bites on my calves.
Oof.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but it could be from something else. I don't know. Maybe I was just exposing my calf other places. I don't really know.
Did you go swimming?
I did. Oh my God. Yes, I went to the Embarcadero YMCA, which I love. They have
and
a
that's
day
where
rate.
you got bit. Yeah.
No, you don't get bit in the pool. Are you insane? In a chlorinated pool? No, you're going to give me an opinion on chlorine. Look, I'll take your opinions on everything else, but on pools, no.
What about the locker room? That's what I was thinking. Right,
No.
okay, all right. We're just moving on.
What's most likely?
Odds? It's unlikely that the hotel. I don't know. I don't know why I'm taking the part of a hotel here over a locker room.
I don't know either.
Mostly because I like a locker. I like a hotel more than a locker room. But you love a locker room.
Well, two totally different buildings with different objectives. I mean, why compare? And literally apples and oranges. Not literally, but close as literally to possible.
So the swimming was good? The swimming was good? I bring us back.
Okay, so It's a 25-meter pool, 4 lanes, and it overlooks Stewart Street, and the locker room overlooks the bay. It is in a location that I guess the YMCA bought 100 years ago and could probably sell for trillions, and they haven't. It's mostly older people, older immigrants working out there, a lot of Chinese people, Russians. And it's just a nice pool. It's a surprise. You don't expect it.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So, and it's $20 to get in, and the guy let me in for free. So I'm already ahead.
Deal. My Korean spa here in the valley has closed, but I just found out about a new one, but it's all the way towards Topanga Canyon. So I may do it. I may do it anyway, but I mean, I will do it, but I don't know.
Right.
But it is much further from where I live.
You know what? The one of the comics I was working with this weekend, she was behind a couple that were coming into the club, and the guy was saying how much he was telling the woman in kind of like a first date kind of way, like how much he loves female comedians. And I'm
Oh.
like, that's a good, I'm going to make a little like reel telling men that this is a good way to let women know that you're a good guy. If you go
Right.
to a comedy,
You're at
you must,
least pretending to do it.
yeah,
Just, yeah.
would you actually sit down and laugh and have a good time at a female headliner? What that tells the woman you're sitting with is you like women and you're not
Yeah.
an uptight Andrew Tate asshole, that
Right.
women make you laugh. And then if
Who's
that's the
Andrew
case,
Tate again?
oh, you know what? Don't even, you could
Don't
do the worst
just could.
dork force ever if you wanted to and find out. He's like a sex trafficker slash hero to young boys.
Hey, did you hear that Kanye West is a sex trafficker? Did you hear about that? I heard somebody doing a bit about it the other night. Am I wrong?
Are you thinking of a Diddy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Uncomfortable. Jackie?
Uncomfortable that I would make such an error.
Yes. Kanye.
It's a classic.
Kanye has threatened to start some sort of porn venture. So maybe those two things got mixed in your head. But no, Diddy is, and I know this because this guy, Murad Murali, I think his last name is, he makes videos about the royal family. And
Okay.
that's a rabbit hole I jump into 4 times a day.
Right.
Kate Middleton, whatever's going on. Harry and Meghan are going to Nigeria, and the royal families, like the British media is like, oh, Meghan's not stopping by to Britain first. They're very upset. Anyway, that's a separate conversation. He also does videos on Diddy, and I wasn't that interested. And then I listened to one, and Diddy actually sounds Epstein level bad. Like he recorded a lot of things. He himself did a lot of stuff, and this is all alleged. Because this guy Murad said he's been getting threats from Diddy's people for just all he's doing is reading news and commenting on it and saying allegedly all the time. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
Anyway, so that's also happening, and I guess you're busy right now. I see you typing.
No, I not typing. I just at the beginning of it, I just looked up what because here's my thing.
Talking.
Yeah, you talking immediately makes me want to look something up. And
it was your soliloquy. I began looking something up.
Well, P. Diddy's original name, because the thing is my hip hop life, the hip hop that I like is very few mainstream, and it was absolutely never Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Listen, it was never him.
Sugar Hill Gang, Ride or Die, and that's
it. Interesting. All right, old school. All right.
Yes.
I'm KRS-One and Scott LaRock. So it's but then it falls apart, and then it does go to Common.
Right.
But it does do. I have probably 6, and we all know that my knowledge of music is genuinely epileptic in how bad it is. Like I literally have I can't do it.
Yes. And epileptic,
I like music, but I don't. Is my brother Scott is epileptic. It's very beautiful. And almost called him the other day.
Yes.
Yeah. I've talked to all of my family.
Your use of analogies is also epileptic.
Fair enough. Not wrong. Speaking of weird, like things that don't hold up.
Right.
So
under any scrutiny whatsoever.
Right. It is my Tough Crowd. Somebody told me yesterday that they saw my Tough Crowd clipped out on something.
Oh no.
And I was like,
how bad is it, Jackie?
Well, all I know is at the time I was furious because I did a Jack Ritter joke, and he had just died on the Friday.
John Ritter? Right.
John Ritter. I called him Jack. What?
Oh yeah, and Jack from Three's Company, of course.
Jack from Three's, and John. The shortened version of John is Jack. Weirdly enough.
Correct.
But so John Ritter dies the Friday before I record and film Tough Crowd.
Oh boy.
And so on Monday I do Tough Crowd.
Right.
And my joke on Tough Crowd was that they've renamed the show 10 Rules I Don't Listen to Because My Dad Is Dead. And it was something like that. It was really dumb.
Such a Tough Crowd joke.
And it got cut.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, what, too hard for you guys? That's what I wanted to say to Colin for years after that, but I didn't run into him for 3 years and I had forgotten of it. So what I do is I tend to get mad about it every 12 years, you guys. Look forward to it in the late 30s.
36.
Of 36.
That's how quick I add, Jackie. Welcome to my
played.
life. So
I've done so many in-town gigs. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, but a Tough Crowd clip came up. Have you seen it?
I haven't. Somebody said to me last night at the show that they saw my Tough Crowd clip. It was a buddy of James Adomian, who teaches. That's just the other thing. He teaches an acting class, and he said some sides with my name came up on as one of the things that they use for like just as a sample sides for acting to practice on for
like
people that
some of your act.
Not my act. Someone had typed out sides, and that I had auditioned on, and had my name stamped on them.
Oh, weird. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he said that he had never noticed that it was my name on it until that person who I just typed in the chat.
Oh, okay.
She said, "Why is Jackie Kashian's name on these sides?" And he goes, "Well, they must have been given to her for an audition." I would like casting people to know that I'm not giving my sides away to anybody, and because my name is all over it, and I could get in trouble for that, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the reason they put your name on it is so that they could. It's sort of like the way they do with screeners.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
They're your screeners.
Yeah, you should have that guy take your name off. And why wouldn't he do that? I mean, he should know that. That's not cool.
I don't know why he doesn't know that, but I didn't think of that in the moment. But you're right. Please take my name off if he's listening.
He's not.
I think he isn't. His name's Leon. I think it's Leo or Leon. It was really loud. It was echoey. I did a show last night.
Yes.
In what was sort of one of those open workspaces where you could rent tiny spaces in the thing.
Oh.
But it was all Indonesian. It was run by an Indonesian couple and their son.
Okay.
And
so
I got to say the only thing I knew in Indonesian. Oh, go ahead.
They have a comedy club in like a WeWork.
Yeah, it's like a WeWork, and it's a pop-up comedy thing. It's called Hexi, Hexi, and it's over on Wilshire near La Brea, Wilshire and Sycamore actually, and I walked in, and I was told that I could get a cup of coffee, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then it was, and all I know in Indonesian, just so you know, is aku cinta padamu. And I said it to the woman, and she goes, well, I love you too. And so I was set up by one of my best friends is Indonesian, and when I was taking, because I studied Southeast Asian studies in college, that was my poli-sci minor.
Yeah.
And by the way, I remember nothing. I can't even tell Suharto and Sukarno apart. Leave me alone. So, but here's if anyone wants to email me and ask me, but I don't. I wish I did. And but the I loved my Indonesian professor, my Indonesian poli-sci professor, so much.
Yeah.
That I was like, Kat, tell me something that I can say to him that would be really cool in Indonesian. And she told me to tell him that I loved him.
There you go.
It's a great story,
That's
you guys.
A friend. My dad lived in Jakarta for a while. He worked in Indonesia. Yeah, that was in my. It's weird.
Before you were born, or
no. This is after. This is the 5 years he was overseas in my life. How
old were you?
I would say 12 to 17.
Oh wow!
Formative. So those aren't key years, luckily, in a young girl's development. But hey, no biggie.
No press, Dad. No press.
I mean, he couldn't get work here, so and the one thing is they wanted to keep my parents, and I in Catholic schools. Like that was super important, and they were really expensive. So my dad worked overseas, so we could go to Catholic schools. So you could
stay in the private schools instead of switching over to the public schools in
Walnut
Creek.
I would be a much happier person had I had my dad at home and gone to Ignatia Valley High School instead. But
right,
they weren't thinking that way.
Go Rockets!
Go Rockets!
I don't know what their mascot was. I just assumed it was Rockets.
It's not the Rockets, Jackie. I don't remember what it is, but I do remember what it isn't.
Do you remember what your high school's mascot was? The Cougars. Hilarious.
Yeah. I was a Cougar. But here's the thing. So I'm working on this stuff about my kid, and I thought I need something else, and I just remembered a story from my life that was kind of true, that is true, and I just started adding to it and writing it, and so I tried it on Wednesday and Thursday, and it worked really well, and Friday too, and then the Saturday shows, but the Saturday shows were, when I would do material, they would fade away. They were very audience crowd work oriented.
Oh, weird.
But it was like, oh, this is actually not bad. And it needs, it might be, a 3-5 minute story by the time I finish it. So that was kind of exciting too.
That is exciting. That's great.
Open. And it's not starting from scratch, because it is true. And I'm just sort of,
yeah, and then you just punch it up and you tighten it up and you add stuff and
Blue story. It's like
that's it, and you can build off of it, and it can go in so many great different areas. That's so cool.
Yes,
I will say this: watching so many comedy specials as I am right now.
Right.
Let me tell you that a lot of people are talking about things that I was worried to talk about. I was worried to talk about kind of loving the America bit.
Yeah.
And, writing that gender bit 5-6 years ago when I started writing it, I was super nervous about it. I just watched Mae Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. You can talk about fucking anything, including stand-up comedy. Like, it could be just meta comedy talking about comedy. And you could talk, and I've always known this with stand-up comedy, that you can talk about anything. But I, for some reason, have gotten my head that so it is good that Chris is watching a lot of comedy specials. But so, cause I'm like, okay, so I can work on my, whatever angle I want to work on. Though she was talking about, she made some comparison to, liking your life and cleaning your house or something like that. And I was like, well, that's my American government joke. Like, cleaning your house and American government. But it's so new. Who knows where that joke will end up being? So, and I haven't stolen it. I'm just working on it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's fine.
I do think, like, we were, again, we were told we weren't funny. We're going to have to work extra hard. The audience doesn't like us. So that is in our DNA that we cannot extract. And so I think female comics of our generation are used to sort of like ignoring a lot of their own lives and then trying to like make things appealing to men. Right. And so it's a very hard habit to get out of, but definitely watching younger female comics just get real specific about stuff and not seeming to give a shit if a guy in the audience likes it or not is like, whoa, that's a little,
so whatever. Wild. Yeah. You should mind the fuck out of your, I've mined my stuff, but I know what you say. I tend to work on a bit until it's so smooth. Yeah. Like before I put it on an album, I want it to be smooth enough that it could be like suppository up a dude's butt and he'll still laugh. Right? Like a lot of women the younger comics are just talking about their shit. And if you don't laugh, they're like, I guess you don't get it. And
there's a weird balance because you do want to kill. I do. And so I will shave off things that stop the killing. Right? Sometimes. And sometimes I won't. I do remember like when alt comedy first started, and I remember seeing Jeanine Garofalo talk about auditions, and I'm like, no, these people don't go on auditions. They don't know what the fuck you're saying. Why are you doing that? And, I mean, she obviously...
And then she murdered. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that she murdered, but she did really well. Like, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it always worked.
I was like, no,
and she did murder. Yeah. I saw her murder. Yeah.
You did? I didn't murder.
Right. Well, I think she started. You saw her in regular clubs. I saw her in alt clubs.
See, I did not see her in all clubs. That's true.
I saw her fucking destroying in alt clubs.
Right.
And yeah.
So I guess like I don't know. To me, I've always been trying to find the center when I do material that most of the audience will laugh at.
We were raised to find the center.
Yes, probably. Exactly. I don't know if that's good or bad because
it might not be either. Yeah. It might just be what it is. And I will say, watching a lot of comics talk about comedy, talking about what kind of stand-up they do while doing stand-up, feels a lot like your audition comment, where I'm just like, no, wait, you're pulling them out of the, and then Mae Martin killed with it. So she was the one I saw yesterday. I mean, she's not alone, and a lot of people do it. So, hey, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And Comic of the Week, don't even understand why she hasn't been a Comic of the Week, except for that we didn't think she would need it.
Or she would even want it. She would actually be repelled.
Right, by our support. It's Liz Winstead, you guys. Liz Winstead, who fucking co-creator of The Daily Show. Right?
Yeah.
And has taken her and works in this incredibly hands-on ground floor women's rights, abortion rights. She has something called Abortion Action Front, and it's amazing. But the thing is I was talking to her not long. Liz Winstead, 2 Z's, LIZZ WINSTEAD. And I was talking to her about stand-up, and she was like, I get a lot of people saying to me, do you still do stand-up? I'm like, yeah, fuckers. I still do stand-up. And a lot of it's topical and a lot of it's political. But she also does, talking about raised to work the center. I think it appeals to everybody, and she would love to do clubs. She would love to do everything,
Oh my God. And of course she should do clubs.
Yeah. So Liz Winstead, you guys, if you're out there booking stuff, find her. Throw her some cash for the Abortion Action Front, too. What the hell? But book her and watch her stand-up because she's great.
I remember, because she was in San Francisco for a while, and seeing her on stage, I was really new, and she was like, she just like stood with the confidence, like the hip out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just standing there. And she goes, I'll never forget this line. She goes, I think male Great Dane should have to wear underwear. And it was so funny. It was like, it's such a short line, and and if all you have to do is a little work in your head, and the visual is bananas. And I fucking love it. And I know she's like, that's the line of mine you remember? I don't know. I was a young comic, and it just was like, it went right to my brain, and I was like, that's so perfect,
I love do a little visual work in your head, and that might be the title of this episode. Talk about meta. So Liz Winstead, 2 Z's, WINSTEAD. STEAD. There you go. And it'll be in the notes. Thanks a lot, you guys. The visual work, she's such a great comic. I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say. Well, I was going to say, talk about how meta this podcast is. Like, that's just how long it took for us to put a podcast together. Because the younger guys who do stand-up comedy podcasts from the intro of podcasts.
Right.
And the Dork Forest, I always balk at whenever anyone wants to share about stand-up. Like, that's their dorkdom.
Oh,
I'm always like,
oh my God. Who would even do that to you?
Right. It always felt like a lot. I was just like, well, I don't want to talk about stand-up for an hour. And here we are, 6 years later. Talking about stand-up.
We started in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Marcella
what
was
month?
Our first. January 1st. I think we taped it at the very end of 2015, and then they threw it up. Nerdist threw it up early January.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
8 years, you guys. You're doing great. Support the Patreon. Support the Max Fund.
We just paid some people with the Patreon money. So thanks, Patreons. You're helping us do
cover the
bare
the tech
minimum
part.
we do.
Yeah.
So I was excited to have a new thing work, and excited to walk around New York City, in San Francisco, and just, the Ferry Building. I had a lot of meals there. It's just such a great little gig at the base of, the Bay Bridge.
Yeah. Right. So cool.
And then, oh my God. Okay. So, so Jess got me like a little afternoon show, like a local afternoon show. It was,
wait, that Sherry thing or
no. That's a syndicated national show. That's like taking the place of Wendy Williams, right? K-Run, yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's now like a lot of local news. There's no cameramen anymore. Everything's automated. You just go there. You're like, so many jobs have been taken away from this industry, right? And when I was in Chicago and I did their thing, like the anchors do their own makeup, because I had asked if there was a makeup person there to help me with something, and they said, no, the anchors do it. Oh, that's crazy. Those are all like union jobs, camera, hair, makeup, all that stuff. And so this one, again, very sparse, and the women, I was just talking to one person. I do feel like when you're doing material on one of those shows, it's helpful when there's two people there, because one of them's the prim and proper, and one of them's the bad boy that's gonna laugh, right? And so you can play off of them. And she was it was just her, and it's just she can't be a great audience because she's moving a show along. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was like, are people going to cancel their tickets after they see this hit I just did? I had no idea. But everyone was very nice, and it looked good, but it was just, I had just done some of those same jokes on Sherry, and the difference in the reaction was like maybe stuck in my head.
Right. Well, because that's what it does. That's what it does feel like.
Yeah.
It is nice when there's more of a team, because then there's more people to laugh and all the things.
Right. Yeah. And there always seems to be like, it's always the odd couple with a team, and there's one that is a little prim, and the other one, so you can kind of work them a little bit, But yeah,
I love it. Yeah,
I flew in. Jackie, I flew in super early to do that. I had to get like a really early, like a 7:45 flight in the morning, so I could be there by noon. And I thought, oh fuck, I'm just gonna drop by club quarters, leave my luggage, and then just hang out for 3 hours, and then do my own makeup and go there. Club quarters gave me a room at 10 in the morning.
Nice early check-in. Sometimes it works.
Yes. Yeah. Can I just circle back and say I'm not saying that's where I got my little bites. It could have been from any place.
Could have been anywhere.
And guess what? It's bite season. That happens.
Oh, it is. It is tiny animal season.
Right.
Yeah, I just bought. I might have told you this last week, that I bought a bunch of bugs for the garden, for my vegetable garden, and it's working quite nicely. Thank you very much. Though I have not seen any of the praying mantises that I bought. They should have hatched, and they are supposedly the ones that hang out in the backyard. Yeah, and I need them to eat all the rest of the other animals. I need to eat I need them to eat all the rest of the bugs. But because we have aphids, and we have snails, and we have I don't know, some other fucking thing. Those giant June buggy things, the green ones.
Oh, do they eat?
That fly around?
What do they eat?
Praying mantises? They'll eat a human.
No, what did the June bugs eat? What are they eating of yours?
Oh, they eat the figs. They eat the figs that Andy wants.
All right.
Yeah. And so our oranges are ripe. So every morning I'm picking 7 oranges and making orange juice for everybody.
Oh, that's nice.
And our lemons are done. And there's another big run. Everybody should buy chicken right now, because there's another avian flu out. So they're going to have to kill a pile of chickens again. And a chicken gave it to a cow, and a cow gave it to a guy. So, in Texas. So another pandemic coming down the pike, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
This planet would really like us to die.
I think bird flu has a 50% fatality rate, or a very high fatality rate, like way worse than COVID's. Were it to
really?
become as
were it to
large.
pandemic itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do? I made sarma, which is an Armenian. You guys call them dolmas. Here's the thing about moving to Los Angeles 25 years ago, Laurie. Because that's how long I've lived here. I believe 26 years and maybe 27, whatever. There are two kinds of sarma dolmas, which are these grape leaf wrapped things. There's vegetarian ones and there is meat ones.
Right.
And they don't make the meat ones here. I don't know what's with the fucking vegetarian sarmas. To my grandmother's dying day, she called them yalanchi sarma, which is liar's wrap in Turkish. And so yesterday I made some ground beef ones, and I've eaten probably a dozen in the last day and a half. I had them for breakfast. I had them for dinner.
That sounds delicious. I cannot. There are several empanada places around here, but they're always putting raisins or something that looks like a raisin in the empanada, and it revolts me. I need
raisins and meat are not my fave.
No, and why is that so popular?
I don't know, but Andy likes fruit and meat. I'll do apricots in like a rice or a couscous.
No.
I'll do it with a rice dish, but I won't do it on chicken. I don't want any part of it.
No,
some people love it.
Yeah. Well,
here's something. First time we've agreed on a food. Good for us.
The podcast taking a turn. I'm excited to see what's next for us.
Exactly. We might hang out when we're not recording. It could happen. You guys don't know. We're both going to be in Milwaukee at the same time.
Oh my God. Yes, that's right. I picked up a weekend at the Laughing Tap, June 7th and 8th. If you're in Milwaukee, come on down. Are you in Milwaukee or are you working adjacent?
Oh shit. June 7th and 8th?
Yeah.
I actually, no, the 7th, I fly into Minneapolis on the 7th. The 8th, I'm in Hayward. And the 9th, I drive like the devil to get to Milwaukee for church. It's a 7-hour drive. My brother is like, we're doing the Kashian Requiem service then. If you could, about Grandma and Aunt Alice and Mom and Nancy. And I'm like, why don't you tell somebody when it fucking is, and then maybe we could plan this? Because he never tells anyone. He just does it, and then he doesn't tell me or Darla or Phil, or he certainly doesn't tell Scott and Terry, but neither do I. Anyway, so
it's a mass to celebrate family members that other family members are feuding with that won't show up.
Well, Russ does it, and he's like, he picks all these people, and he's like, it's the only day available. Otherwise it's the Armenian, and he doesn't talk like that, but that's how he talks in my head.
Sure.
When he doesn't fucking tell me when the dates are. Please.
Gotcha.
And anyway, so you'll be gone.
I can't attend. Thank you for inviting me.
Right. When do you get? Are you gonna? Yeah, because I'm gonna essentially. I will get to Milwaukee on the 9th, and then I have a show in Eau Claire again on like the 10th or 11th. And then I have a show in Madison on the 15th. And so I've just picked up this weird Wisconsin run.
During that 2-week time, I go, I go to New York, do a couple spots. Then I go to Vermont Comedy Club, Burlington, Vermont. Then I come back on Sunday, audition for SD at a brunch show. Then I go home for a couple days, and then I fly to Portland for 2 days, do a helium show and a live wire show. And then I go to Milwaukee.
That's a lot of coming and going.
Yeah, that's a lot of flying.
Are you gonna commit? Are you just gonna? Can you JetBlue all of that, or do you have to Southwest all of it?
No. I've already bought the tickets. They're all singletons all over the place. Yes, and I just found out. So I was on United. My special is available now. Okay, so when you log into United, their app on the seatback, the only special that shows up is Zarna's. Okay, so if you go, what else is there? You have to look under stand up, and then I show up along with Maria and a bunch of other people. But you have to search to find my special. You have to search
it's on
to find
United.
all of them. It's on United. But I did watch the guy in front of me watching Zarna's. And I was like, is anyone going to watch? I was looking for my wrinkled blue silk shirt on someone's screen, but I couldn't see it.
Fuck. Yeah, I have one weekend of work in May. That is it. I have no work in May. I have just Seattle. So please fucking come so I get the bonus. I would love that.
Yeah.
The 3rd and 4th of May, the first weekend. And then the rest of May, I'm around.
This weekend
This
coming
very
up.
weekend.
Okay.
So you know how Wednesday is the 1st? Today?
Yes.
Friday and Saturday. I'm in Seattle. And if you guys could all come, just fly in from Zurich. I don't fucking care. Do what you can. Tell people that you know who live there. Buy tickets and don't show up. Some fucking thing. Because it's the only
show up. Yes.
it's the only only weekend I'm working.
That is the gift that people can give us. They're like, how can I help you? I don't live nearby. I don't live near anywhere you go. Buy tickets to all of our shows. It doesn't matter.
Or just Venmo me $25. How about that? You could do that. It's at Jackie Kashian.
No.
Yourselves
We
out.
want those ticket numbers up. We want, because
that would be great too.
The accountant tells you if you get rebooked at a club. Nobody
that doesn't
else
mean
does.
You couldn't Venmo me if you don't want to. But she is right. Yes, to buy the tickets would be better. But it would also be better to just come. It would be really fun to sell it out. Yeah, I don't have my June. My June is crazy. My June is like your June, where you're going everywhere and then coming home for 12 seconds and then going somewhere else. And it's so just to say, like I fly into Minneapolis, and Darla, who listens to this show, was like, borrow my car, Jackie. Save the rental car fee. Yeah. I can just her kid has a car. Kid doesn't even have my niece doesn't even have a license yet.
Jackie, take the car.
Take the car. And Darla's gonna fly to Milwaukee and pick up the car. So I can fly out of Milwaukee.
Why don't you burn money if you don't accept this offer? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your complaints if you don't accept this offer.
Well, and Darla has to go to work in Chicago that weekend. So she's on the 15th, she's going to fly to Milwaukee and then drive to Chicago, do her work, and then drive back to Minneapolis.
I listened to the Jerry Seinfeld podcast that everyone is upset about.
Oh, wait, I just saw that
he talked to David
was
Remick.
That the interview? Was that where the variety thing came from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they quoted. Okay.
I mean, aside from if he hadn't said leftist PC crap, it would have just normal shit, right?
Right.
It's like, that's not like the audience why even has say changed. That? So, yeah, I don't know. I do feel like his audience hasn't changed, and so he's not going in. He's not going into clubs cold, having to make people laugh. As much as he is having people come to him that have seen him dozens of times, or they know him, or they're the same. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's doubled down, because 10 years ago he was talking about how nobody could do colleges anymore because of PC.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody even is using the word PC anymore. They're using the word woke, Jerry.
Exactly.
And
please update that reference, please.
And and you're just like, hey, Grandpa, it's okay. Like when because I will say this is what the article said, the headline. I didn't read the article. I haven't listened to the podcast. I'm sure my mother-in-law will. But what's happening is he said that there's no good comedy television, because of PC wokeness, which means he has not watched any of the enormously so fucking creepy, dark, hilarious shit that's on television right now. It is so dark. That baby reindeer business was supposed to be funny,
which you haven't seen.
I read all the synopsis. It's great. But and it's funny. Super funny?
Yes. Well, it's not super funny. It's funny. I mean, I'm thinking of 4 shows now that have been canceled that were great. This Fool, Reservation Dogs, South Side, and the other 2.
Reservation Dogs was really funny.
Yeah, and you're going to tell me the other 2? That was some of the darkest, funniest shit. And alluding to Streeter being attracted to Chase. I mean, It was dark shit, and it was great.
Even sitcom wise, Abbott Elementary
Yes.
and The Connors. Chris has
I
watched
haven't
all
seen
of The Connors.
Oh, okay.
Super dark. Here's what The Connors is doing, because I've accidentally seen probably 15 episodes.
Okay.
The Connors is genuinely like Roseanne in the way that it's done in that old 90s sitcom kind of vibe.
Right.
But the writing is enormously 2023, 24.
Oh.
So it is smart as fuck and dark as fuck. Season 6 just came out. There's 5 seasons that are out, I think, on Netflix.
Okay.
And the season 6 might be on CBS or like Paramount Plus or Peacock or some fucking thing. But whatever it is, those first 5 seasons are incredibly dark and funny. And so Seinfeld's wrong. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think that's a
new comedy that's great.
But he did talk about how you send a joke, it goes through an executive's pipeline, basically. And then it just gets dumbed down so much that it's like, what the fuck? And but
hasn't it always been like South Park was the only place that didn't do it, right?
Right. It was like network notes, right? So I wasn't sure why he would blame network notes on leftist woke or leftist.
Wait, that rhymes. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But he did say an interesting thing about material and like doing old material versus new stuff, and how he and Chris Rock basically said that every comic has at most 2 good hours, right? And I mean, I could say there's stuff I put on an album that I would now take, I wouldn't go balls to the wall on, right?
I pulled one of my tracks off of Circus People when Blonde Medicine re-released it this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's whatever, 2 hours may be obviously a debatable amount of time, but
I don't think that's true, but okay.
But he was saying that, sometimes the audience loves to hear stuff that they've heard before,
Right.
Maybe not the whole thing. And he was saying that the fact that people turn over a new hour so quickly, which I believe too, it's like, you can't do it that fast.
We've always said that. You and I have always said that. It was like back before Louis C.K. was disgraced and then regrouped, we used to talk about how that was too quick.
Yeah, so he talked. He has said a lot of stuff where I think you would totally agree with and everything.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the couple of things that it's just like when it's I know that it's a podcast and we're all just talking. I made an epilepsy joke, but so I don't know that that's. So maybe he was just talking out of his ears, just like not thinking. Yeah. But whenever anybody says something that's just a casually that and then doesn't go back, like I don't want that. That epilepsy thing wasn't that bad. To pull it out of the thing.
I felt like you were thinking of another word. Were you, or weren't you?
I think I was, and it wasn't that word, but it was close enough to work in.
I know.
In podcast land.
So many laughs on stage are like, oh, that's not what I meant to say, but you know what? You guys laughed, and let's move on.
Hey, let's take a quick break before I forget to take one.
Okay. Yeah. What were you saying about Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, it's because his when I finally saw his first special, which was very, very funny, it had been hacked. His style had been hacked so bad, that I couldn't care. I was like, "Oh, that's a good joke. That's a good joke. That's a good joke." But that was it. It wasn't laugh out loud.
Yeah, right.
Funny, which is too bad. I mean, when you're such an icon, when you're such a sort of a when you become the thing that is observational comedy, when you become the thing like Carlin, which is political list comedy, right? He did a lot of lists, or that was a signature bit of his that was then co-opted. And then when I see Carlin do that, I'm always like, no, I see, I get it. And I know he did it first. And it was sort of like, what it didn't happen a little bit, but not as bad. Pryor, I had never heard Richard Pryor. And so when I first heard Richard Pryor's first special, that thing that was shot down Long Beach, I think, I laughed out loud at that while also thinking, oh, he has been hacked so hard. He's been hacked premise-wise. He's been hacked style-wise. He's been hacked cadence-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I still like because of how personal his stuff was. I think probably. What do you think?
Yeah, that just reminds me of who's been copied the most is David Tell. So much, like a current.
And I've never seen his long set. If
did
I
you
were
watch
to watch
his
it,
special?
no, I've never seen a long set.
35 minutes. It is.
Wait,
short.
David Tell.
Yes, I was like, I love it. He didn't give away the store. I don't know why it was so short. Like, whatever his reasoning
Did I tell you what I heard about it?
What?
Why they added that recorder stuff at the back end? It wasn't long enough.
Yeah, right. I love it. I mean,
yeah,
good. We're all just like, we gotta do an hour and scrambling, and he was like, no, this is the
and
best.
He gets to because he's so iconic.
Gets to because you can tell. But it would be. Who else? Was it Earthquake? Who did a really short special that maybe it was I don't know. Somebody else did a half hour recently, like one of the older guys. It might have been Earthquake or Cedric did a half hour. It was great. And it was like, yeah, why can't we just hey, I have to write it. If it takes you 3 or 4 years to write a good hour, by the time you record it, the first 20 minutes you did in the first year are going to feel so old to you, and you'll be so sick of it. It won't be as fun to perform anymore, you know?
And somebody told me that when a band has 35 minutes, they put out a new album. So I might do that. I was talking about it on the Patreon half hour with Beth Stelling, which had some real reveals in it, you guys. And, or at least a couple.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a half hour. It was a half hour.
Yeah.
Good. So, yep. Yeah, I might do it. I might talk about putting out another short album this year because I don't think I'm going to print physical copies.
Right.
Brandy Posey was saying that she's not doing physical copies at all.
Brandy,
if you want to do them, it's fine. Yeah.
Well, she was like always. Wasn't she doing albums and stuff? Like and bringing.
She does do albums, but they're all digital. The albums are all digital.
No. She's printing vinyl. I'm sorry, I meant vinyl. Like she was doing vinyl and bringing them.
Yeah,
on the
she
road.
was doing vinyl. I think she was doing vinyl. That does sound like her. I know that her first hour, she put on a cassette that had a card that was an insert that was a download card.
Oh, that's cool. That's cute.
Yeah, because nobody has a cassette player.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jackie, how are we gonna make money? That's all I want to know. I just need to know how.
I just lost 3 weeks of work while we were talking. When I picked up my phone to look up the thing, I lost 3 weeks of work, and then somebody else asked me if I wanted to do 1 week of work, but it's a tentative.
How did you lose 3 weeks?
They were tentatives, and they were opening for Maria, and she was like, "I'm not making enough money."
Okay,
and I'm like, "Fair enough." And but I have a tentative with Brian Reagan, and then I also took a call. Wait for it, Laurie.
Yeah,
a cruise ship.
People
regular fucking cruises
on cruise ships. Greg Barrett works cruise ships. I just listened to his audiobook. By the way, it's great.
He's got a new audiobook.
He has a new audiobook. It's like 2.5 hour listen. It's on this new app called Everand, and it's $11 a month. You can do the first month for free. That's enough to listen to his album. It's great. He had cancer twice, came back from both of them, opiate addiction, marital troubles, and also the thing of becoming famous for something, and then people coming to your show. Yeah, and not wanting stand up. They want you to heal their relationships. And the horror of all that, the joy and the horror of the success that it's not the success you wanted. So it's really good. I recommend it.
Right.
He's doing cruise
he
ships.
co-wrote that book.
He's just not that into you. Yeah.
He's just not that into you. Which was a line from Sex and the City and the City, I believe.
Jackie, cruise ships are losing their the stench that we put upon them so long ago. People are
much
happy.
Like merch.
They're making money.
Yep.
All right. And some cruise lines are not squeaky clean where you need to do 2 hours of
she told
jokes
me
that children can laugh at.
She told me that she wanted 2 30-minute sets that were different. And then she talked me into 2 45-minute sets that were different. One squeaky clean. And when you said you have 2 hours of material, I was like, bitch, I have 5 hours of material. I would like to never say the word bitch again. I'm so sorry. I could cull together 2 45-minute sets
Right.
from my 6 albums.
Yes, absolutely.
And I will. And I can, and if that's what it is, that's what it is. Cause I need to fill some weeks. I'm also just booking shit. Like I'm literally going through other people's calendars going, oh, there's a club in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Okay.
Right.
How do I get there? Because my agent is not getting me there. So I'm also, I was talking to Tammy Pescatelli about who her agent was, and I'm sure my agent would be like, go forth. And but we'll see. And I don't know.
Guys, we're just trying to stay in show business. That's it.